What's up, guys? Claude Johnson here. Today we're going to keep talking about boogie riffs. And hopefully you saw some of the previous lessons. You know, we went over this basic riff in E. Basically, we've got like an arpeggiated major six type riff. So we have like root, third, fifth, sixth, and then up to your seventh, back down, sixth, fifth, third. Notice I'm hitting each note twice and it's in a shuffle or triplet rhythm. All right, so we talked about that. Remember, it's a 2-bar riff, so 1, 2. And we talked about replacing some of the notes on that second bar with some of these little 2-note chords or harmonized pieces of the Mixolydian scale. You could call them double stops. All right, so let's move on to some new ideas now. One idea would be, instead of playing it like this, what if you played it like this? So you're sort of throwing in a little triplet there. And there's a couple different ways we could do this. So one way would be, instead of playing a full bar of that, just play half the bar. In other words, half the second bar. So basically 4 single notes, then 2 triplets, and then 2 single notes again, like this. And with these triplets, they work really well at slower tempos. So you can get, you know, it's good for like a slower blues song, and I feel it really adds a lot of groove. Like throwing in those triplets adds a lot of groove to, you know, just an otherwise kind of slow tempo. So. That kind of a feel. All right, so let's go over the picking. The picking, what I'm doing here is like a hybrid picking technique. So I'm using my pick with a downstroke on the A string, and then I'm using my middle finger of the right hand to pluck upwards on the D string. And then I do one more downstroke on the A string. So down, pluck, down. Now the other notes are just the regular alternate picking. Alright, so if you're struggling with this, I think sometimes the challenge can be the fact that you've got 2 downstrokes in a row, like you're going down, pluck, down, and then down again. So you can just isolate this. Down, pluck, down, down. Just practice that, and then once you got that down, so we'll just go over it one more time. So now let's just try to play it through a 12-bar blues, as we sometimes like to do. And this is a good opportunity to throw in maybe some arpeggios on the turnaround. So last time we talked about just using real basic chords, which is also great. It's a great contrast with those boogie runs. But just for the sake of doing something a little different right now, we'll throw in some arpeggios. Let's just try to take it through a 12-bar blues. All right. Hey, real quick before we continue here, I just want to give a quick plug for my free course. It's called 7 Blues Guitar Secrets That Save You Years of Practice. You can get it at BluesGuitar.com/secrets, or just check the link in the video description. And I think it's got a lot of powerful insights and concepts that are going to help you out. They're going to help you with everything you're doing, including the stuff in this video. So once again, just check the link in the description. Thanks for your support, and now back to the video. Up a set of strings. Back. Okay. Now, let's see. What else can we do? How about instead of just half a bar, what if we did a full bar by walking the whole thing down? This is kind of interesting. Like last time we talked about kind of keeping, well, we did this, which is a fourth. So we talked about mixing up the thirds and the fourths, which is less repetitive, maybe more musical. But in this case, it makes more sense to just keep, keep the structure. If we're walking down, let's just keep going in thirds. So this is like open with D string. So B here on the second fret, and then open D string, and then second fret to fourth. Fourth fret on the low E string to second fret. So. Okay, and again, you would take that through the 12 bars and go when you go to your A chord. Whoop. Okay. Let's see. Also, another thing we could do. So we're playing the full bar, but instead of walking it down, we'll just go down 2 notes and then back again. I kind of like that one. You can just end like that if you want. Which is another technique. You can just kind of throw in those whole notes, or, instead of dividing the beat into these 2 every time, sometimes throw in just a single note, and you can kind of experiment with which beats you want to do that on. Another thing you could do is keep this rhythm, but you would still use these little harmonized shapes, but instead of a triplet every time, you could just mix and match, sort of. You got your triplet, you got your just regular shuffle rhythm, and then you got your single notes. So you can kind of throw in all of those into the mix. All right, let's give you guys one more idea, and that is to extend, instead of just a 2-note harmonization, what about a 3-note harmonization? So something like that. Sounds pretty nice. So basically what I'm doing here, when I have these 2-note shapes, it's basically like a third, or you skip over 1 note in the Mixolydian scale. So now what we're going to do is, from here, we're going to skip over like 2 more notes. So instead of like, you could think of it almost like a 1-3-6 triad or something like that. So if I was, I'm in the Mixolydian scale here, so there's my D to my F sharp. If I was just going to go 1 more note, I would get like a D triad. But I'm going to raise that 5th up to the 6th, so it's sort of like a D6 chord here. So yeah, instead of like this, I have, and then so this is like with your open D string. And this would be like this, what I just said, the strict way to harmonize it that way. But you could also do hitting your E note here, which I think sounds maybe a little more musical. It has that sweet kind of major sound. And it's also sort of combining, the different intervals, like I said. You can also get a little bit of syncopation, pluck and then pick 2 notes here. When you go to your A chord, Again, you could use your A7 shape or A. But you would throw that in with... and that kind of thing. All right, so hope you enjoyed the lesson, and we'll talk to you soon.